Good afternoon, heroes and heroines, and welcome to Practising Programming in C, where we're going to do a little bit of stuff on Cinera. The first thing I want to do is hopefully going to be a very small thing, and it's just squashing inotify events. So, what we're building in? We're building in O2 here. Let me just build in OD. Or not optimized at all. Yeah, I'll just run the program and show you what the situation is. Also, let's just check that we've got debug events on, which happens. We've got debug events on now. Right. So we run the program. Just get these ready to go. I think this is the most recent one. This is the most recent one, I think, actually. Okay, so in fact, I'll step. I'll just go to here. So the first time through, you do get a watch event for the topics.css file, because that just gets, it always gets touched. I think what it is it always gets opened and closed is what it is, really. I mean, maybe we could change it so it doesn't look at the enclosed, so it only looks at the enclosed right, but then I think it would still look at the enclosed, so whatever. But anyway, let's continue, and then let us do a change in here, so just to save it. So we're back here, we've got an event here. It's on this name. Now this is irrelevant, we don't actually process this at all, because we're now looking at, we now look at each individual file. So for this case here, we've just changed something in hero code, haven't we? So what we're looking for is we're monitoring this directory, hero code, and we're looking for all files that have the extension .html. Okay, so that's all that we're handling. Now, even if there is events within this thing, we're not actually going to handle those events. And this event down here, go to it. This event down here is one such event. Okay, 4913 is not the file, not a file name that we're watching. So we're going to try and get a watch file, and we won't get one because we're not watching that file. So let's continue on, and I can see we've got another one here for 4913, which we're not bothered about. Another one for 4913. Okay, so now we've got a code 593 event. This is an in-moved from and an in-move event. Okay, so we are going to get a watch file for this. Let's see what happens. Now remember, we've got an in-moved from. If the event mask ends with these two under together, right, which it will do, you need to go into this delete entry. Right, so it's deleted that entry. And we can continue to the next event. Remember, all we did with that file was save it. We've now got an in create event on that file, and we are watching this file again because it's .html. So we will get it. It's an in create. We don't watch. We don't handle those. So we're going to get through here, and we're not going to pass either of these tests. Okay. Come down here again, and now we've got an enclosed right. Same file name. Come through, got in close writes. Okay. So we're not going to pass this, we're going to pass this, and we're going to insert the entry. And then I think that's it. That's all the events now, yeah. Alright, so basically when you save a file, you trigger basically 3 events, and I made a note of those 3 events. It triggers an in move from, an in create, and an in close writes. Okay. Now, I think what I'm going to do is, all I'm going to do is basically not bother to process each one, only process the last one. Okay. So where are we? This is monitor file system. So yeah, what I'm sort of suggesting is the events. Yeah, the event is appointed. Yeah, that's perfect. So I'm suggesting that what we do is we'd come in here and if we got a watch handle, if we get a watch file, then what we actually do is we peek into the next event to see what it is, and if it matches with the current event, then we set the current event to be the peak, and we basically keep looping until they differ, essentially. Right, and then once we've come to the end of the list, only then do we actually pop out and switch on the file type and handle that. So let me just check here. We've got an events pointer, events.location. The event pointer is less than the events.location. So what's going on here? Is this because I've read the events pointer into a buffer? Is that it? Yeah. I might like to change this actually so it returns a buffer, honestly. Whatever, doesn't matter. So yeah, we're reading the events into the events buffer. Clearing it there, reading it in. So the bytes read is the amount that it read in. Now we want to be able to, I think it's encrypting the events pointer, isn't it? It sort of seems like you want to do this. be careful here because I only want to move me by the actual number of bytes. So I think what I'll do is actually so we've got a peak pointer. Yeah, I think we need to test that first, and then we need to also test while the peaks watch descriptor is equal to the thing, and the something like that, isn't it? The event name. Oh, is it not terminated? Nah, I will use the event learn actually. Okay, so the peak file name. So while the peak file name, well, the peak watch descriptor is equal to the event. And strings match the peak file name. Okay, so while all that is true, what we do is we set the event to be the peak. We say that the event's pointer is equal to the peak pointer, and we then do this. So we set the event to be the peak. We set the event pointer to be equal to the peak pointer. So the peak pointer to be moved along, and we set the peak itself to be that. Alright, I think that's correct. So the watch descriptor and the peak match. Peak watch descriptor match. And the strings match. Yeah, I think that's correct. So let's see. I mean, they look like events to me. So what we got here? While the peak pointer is less than the events, where the peak pointer take where the events location is less than the bytes from red. This might be wrong, maybe. It might actually be the event stop pointer that I might have to check on. Yeah, we should catch this error actually. We should basically go through this 3 times, I reckon. But let's see. Squashing events. Squashing event 3 and 4. So now we've moved that along. Now, let's just see what's going on here. That's 192 already, yeah. So I think actually we're going to fail this test, aren't we? Is this actually now? Hang on a minute. We've squashed that into that. Actually, that might be right. Don't think about it. Yeah, that is right. So yeah, we basically squashed 2 together. Let's see where we're up to now. Still not out of there. This should not let us through, should it? Yeah, great. So I think that's it actually. Alright. So hopefully that's the last we've seen of going to see of the inotify things. It might be nice, mightn't it, to wrap this up into a function, although maybe not. Basically a squash events function. So it takes the current events, it's taking the buffer, yeah, it's taking the events buffer, the current event, nah, it's not bother. Yeah, just give us a couple of minutes. I know they'll be going for like 23 minutes, but yeah, just give us a minute and I'll be right back. before we move on from this, I suppose I'd just like to say that because there's masking involved in this, okay, because we're using masks to determine what we should be doing, you could actually mask everything together in this loop here. You know, when you're squashing all the events down, you could actually mask in the mask of each event, and then once you've actually got your final event out of it, you can see that it's only the mask that's even used from the event. Well, it's got the name also, to be fair. Yeah, but this mask, when you come down to here, you could sort of establish a thing that basically has precedence, really. It's basically the idea of precedence. So, like, if for our case here, if we've got an enclosed write event, or we've got an include move to event somewhere in the mask, then that should take precedence over an in delete or an in moved from event, basically. So you do that one first, and then if that you try and do this test first, and then you try and do this test. We don't have to do that here, basically because we only literally only care about the final one. And it's the final one in chronology. Okay, so it's not like we can't really say that we prefer the in moved. We can't say that we prefer these over these, because you could have a situation where you have like an in delete event, or an in moved from event, an in closed write event, and then finally an in moved from on the same file in the same like window of events. And we would want to actually use the very last one that we got. I think we would want to use that. But it's just something worth bearing in mind, like in the future, if there's anything that I'd want to do with, or we would want to do, that one would want to do with masking things in. It's just another concern. Like, if you have a precedence, like a system of precedence that isn't based on time, but is based on some other thing, you would want to actually mask in everything and then process them all accordingly. But anyway, let's go on. The thing I'm going to do next is just a really simple thing. It's the art variance. Let me just find these guys. Right, here we go. So the art variants here are actually, it's an enum, right? Enums are only 32 bits. But I'm allowing space in the database for art variance values up to 64. 64 bits worth of values. So it's like the max would be something like that. In fact, I think we last 63 bits because we use one of the bits for the what is it that we use that for? Associated, yeah. Use one of the bits to say whether it's associated. It'll be 63 bits for the variance. so we can technically go to that. But this enum can't contain this value, because this value is 1 shifted up by 62, which is that, and a 32-bit value, right, which an enum is, it can't contain this number. So what I'm thinking of doing here is just a really simple thing. Is just change this to be art variant kind of shifters, right? And this is going to be, we don't need to set like what the shifting amount is or what the final thing is. I'm going to also do art variant strings. So these are just for printing out purposes, basically. This thing down here is then referring to, it's pointing into these guys, just referring to whatever's in these. Now this thing here, actually, that I think about it, this is actually anding things together, so I suppose we actually do need to shift them up. So the config out variance, yeah, this guy does actually have to do it. Okay. So art variant strings, the art variant shifters. Yeah, so the art variance is the actual mapping. So this here now is just going to be a uint64. There's no such thing as a art variance. It's just a uint64. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess. I suppose now I think about it, we should really say that it's 63. We should really do that, I think. Just so we don't actually kibosh the thing. The config, the database. Yeah, I think that would be right. Then I believe probably need to fix up some errors here. So the art variants don't exist. Just fix up the errors and then I'll just test some things. Get art variant from string. Yeah, again, this is unfortunate because really we want to be able to say that it's a 63-bit value. And then this is going over the config art variants. Yeah, so the config variants itself knows about the mappings, so that is actually correct. But the thing is, result equals this mapping. Will that pass? Seems to be doing. This is the config again. Yeah, O-ring, or equals ing it in. Oh, it said -1. Well, that's kind of handy actually. Isn't it, maybe? Oh, no, it's not actually. Or is it? The top bit is used for the minusness. Yeah, it might be okay actually. So here we go. This is the bit. So that is actually going to help. That is there's any point for it. So it's like for inside is equal to 0. Or shifters. Yeah, now we want the counts, don't we? Oh yeah, there's no problem with that. Well, if V ANDed with the one shifted up by the hold on, shifters, AVS light. Oh shit. So I know that this is 0. Oh, it's just a number, isn't it? One shifted by I, that's it. If this, then what we do is we print this. We say that. And then what we do is we print in C the art variant strings and then here we go. I think it's the same deal again here. So if the value ANDed with AV like normal, yeah, this is it. It's the same deal. We are basically printing it, but we're typesetting it also. So we'll be able to compress this whole thing down into just one little piece of information. And it's basically just this bit here. Right, so okay, so this is where we are. Then the string is going to be, we know what the string is, it's from the our various strings. Hold on, let me just actually say that it's the just that. I think that's all it is actually. Yeah. There is a way, isn't there? Oh, it's just that. Alright, so if we got a value, you do all of that. Alright, so let's just see if this has completely killed it. Also, let me just turn off the debug events. Now that we're relatively short, that's okay. Okay, so the typesetting and the other way that you can print is this way. Yeah. No, it's not actually. What's the other way? Typesetting and the printing of the variants. Print variant inconsistencies. Ah, right. So that's how that happens. So if we say that the art is risky sprite PNG and the art variance is all, this guy reckons that, and then somebody, this guy's child, says this. Should that trigger the inconsistency? There's lines. We know that we're talking about risky underscore sprite.png. Is that not working now? Yeah, that isn't working. Yeah, risky underscore sprite.png is saying that the variants are light, normal, focused on all this information. But this is saying it's just like that. Okay, so let's see what's going on there. Errors count, print varying inconsistencies. Did I just not finish it off or something? Yeah, okay, so here we go. Push variant uniquely. I think I need to step into this and just watch what it does. So what's going to set by send out is the first one. Says for Patreon. Okay, let's just keep going until send out. Okay, so we've already seen this, haven't we? Yeah. So the variance, right? We've been past a variance of 0. Yeah, that will be 0. Oh, it shouldn't be. It should be. Oh well, send out could be actually. Risky Sprite PNG. So here we go. This is the person that we're interested in. So there's no variance. According to computer organization design. It's Project Risky. It's saying risky sprite.png. I think that's incorrect. I think that should be set to something. Okay, so I know, right, that risky sprite.png needs to have variants, so it's got all variants. Just take Amateur out of the mix just for a moment. Okay, so this won't add any projects. Okay, so we're only looking at this thingamajig. So art variants. So when I'm going to just give us a breakpoint on here and here. And just run again. So we've got 63. All right, loops over them all first. So we've seen the art variants twice now, without hitting the. Is that correct? Oh, it's gone into children. Yeah, so that could be correct. Yeah, it goes through this. But then having gone through this, it then needs to go into the push variant uniquely. Eventually, at some point. Oh, that's a bug. Yeah, so yeah. Yeah, that was our book. Let's just see where else this is called. Support icon variants. Medium icon variants. Art variants. Icon variants. Alright, that's more like it. So now with a bit of luck, we should find that we hit the inconsistency. Yeah, perfect. So the Sprite's inconsistency variance, this Sprite normal. So this isn't very clear, is it? Maybe what we want to do is say that one of them is one colour and the other is another colour. So the first one could be Let's do yellow and cyan. Let's say that. Unless you just loop through the colour codes. I mean, we could, let's alternate actually, just alternate between yellow and cyan. Just a quick check of this. So it starts off as 0. The first thing is it's false, and then it's true. False, true. Okay. So if it's false, it's cyan first. Right. Okay, so some people think it's this, some people think it's this, some people think it's this. There's another way to look at it actually. When we push the variant uniquely, Basically, what I'm sort of thinking is to only make it push a new one on if you didn't know how to install. So you've got a list of variants. You've got incoming variants which you potentially want to push on. Right, you potentially want to push on a path and a variance. When you're going over each of them, if it differs, yeah, I mean, if it differs, you could do with knowing if it's already been pushed on, actually. Let's leave it. It's not super important. It's just a bit of kind of cleanliness, I suppose. Well, this is not an unsolvable problem. I just have to think about it for a bit more. So you come in, you've got a variance, is something. Your list is. Your list kind of looks like. Your list currently looks like sort of. I mean, it's obviously the same path, so all it is. It's just a number of variants. So it's like so that's 4. So you've already got 16. You've already got 2. So you go over the list. You see. Does it differ? Yeah, in seeing does it differ, you don't actually yet know if you should be pushing it on. You get through there, do you know that you should be pushing it on? You still don't know, it differs. So then once you get to after the thing you've said, was it found? no, then you need to push it on. Okay, so that was the first iteration. Then the second iteration, having actually pushed it on, you go through the list and you're saying, is it this? No, is it this? Is this? Yes. So you found it. So it matches. But what would this look like? And then let's say later then get this. Now you're saying found is equal to false. If the things don't match. Yeah, this is the very thing, isn't it? This is where it's pushing on every invariant. So, and it's doing it prematurely, basically. Alright, so we've got the incoming variance. Have we found it yet? No. Also, let me just say for the VS count, this is the thing in the string. This variance counts. Okay, so this is looking for the actual path. So we're getting, yeah, that's fine. So you've got all the paths, and then you've got the variance for that path. Right. So you're looking through all of the variants for this. If it, yeah, as I'm saying, like, so you're saying, do these match? No, they don't, but we still don't know if we need to add. Well, let's do the first one. Do these match? No. Do these match? No. We got to the end and we found that we haven't matched. Right, so you get through to the end. Or if we haven't found. Right, so get through all this, and if we haven't found, then we need to push the thing on. But if they do match, I think that's just it, isn't it? As soon as we find one that matches, that's where this is going to come in, isn't it? This doesn't seem right. If the test is equal to the variance, so go through this loop, we would set it to true. Get to the end. Yeah, it's not an error, is it? So this isn't the correct error. We need to get ourselves to the actual case. Oh, hold on. No, it's if we have found, isn't it? Wait. Let's use the 2, 1. Imagine this against this, at this test here. Do they match? No. We're then matching this against this. Do they match? Yes, we found it. Which means that we don't need to push on an error. And then we go on and we... Well, I mean, yeah, as soon as we found one, we don't need to do anything, do we? Right. So what's the error case here? The error case is... The error case is if we get to the end... variance count. Oh, hang on. Is it just if this has a variance count, and we didn't find the thing? Is that right? If we didn't find it... Oh, hold on a second. These are different things. That's possibly what's throwing me off here. if the strings match this path, then we have found the path. Right. But what we need in here I think that's more like it. I mean, well, hang on, how can you go in here? You can only go in here if you've matched the path. Because you found the path, which means that you've already got something. Yeah, I don't think you need to do that then. Let's try this. Basically, I should expect to see only two of these guys. Yeah. Perfect. Alright. Well, yeah, it did print it out correctly, didn't it? Yeah, the light normal focus. Yeah, cool. That means it's on set. I might actually use the bold versions of these, yellow and cyan. Yeah, I might do that. Because this means it's on set. And then if somebody else were to come along and they were saying that they reckon that the variance is the dark or the focus, for example, they then screw it up also. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so I've got the dark focus, but if this was to say focused also, That doesn't. Right. This doesn't exist. Well, yeah, that doesn't. Actually, no. All right, fine. Maybe I'll think, the print variance thing. Who calls it? Print variance consistency. So these guys who print that. I mean, I don't know if you spotted, but this actually spreads over 2 lines, and it doesn't actually it's just a little unsets popped up there actually. It doesn't paginate it. Also, how it's not quite lined up. Yeah, let's make it do it. So, print variance. It's going to be basically the same as the typeset, actually. Excuse me. Hang on a minute. That's taking a T, generation, taking a key, a value, and the available columns. I think we can just use this straight up, can't we? Other than this bit, I guess. Let's screw it. Let's just yank it all. So we're printing out sort of a proceeding. The margin, if you like. This puts the new line, doesn't it? Yeah. So this is going to do the margin. And then it just prints out what it needs. Yeah, let's just say that. Right, so it's going to do the margin. Does it need spacing? Right, so that's be guided by the errors. It needs the running available columns. So you've got the available columns for value. Okay, you've got the margin. carries return. So it looks like we're missing some bits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where? Yeah, should we be printing out somebody else also? Hold on a minute. Need spacing is false. If we're going to columns, then we simply, if we need to space, we space. I think this should suffice. If we're going to have columns, then we see if we need to space and we space. Otherwise, we want to do a new line, do the margin, set that to false. Need spacing to false. Yeah, it's kind of interesting because you get a set to false, print the string, reduce the available columns, and then set needs spacing to be true straight away. It sort of seems like you only need the need spacing to be false the first time through. Yeah, it's more like it. It'd be nice if I can figure out a way to just do that. You know, do this process just pretty generically. Maybe it'll come to me at some point. All right, so we haven't really done an awful lot actually. All we've done is the squashing of the inotify events, and now the printing out of these guys. We do need to get this stuff into the database. So that passes. Let's let it generate. Alright, now let's have a look at the database. Yeah, right, so okay. I guess that's another thing we need to actually handle, isn't it? When a file doesn't exist, even if it's associated. Let's set that aside for the moment. Let's talk about the Cinera Sprite Patreon. Okay, so the icon Patreon is like that. I think what I'm actually going to do now that I think we've tested all the variant inconsistency stuff, hopefully that will prevent unintended things from happening, I think. Let's keep it in the back of our minds. There's no errors. So why do we not see Patreon's variants coming through? There's hang on a minute. Sorry, they're below, aren't they? So the onset, yeah, the icon type is apparently graphical. It's determined. It reckons that the icon variance is onset. Right, you know, so that's what it should be. Interesting. So that's a bug, isn't it? I used to think it is. I mean, it's managing to get the URL down. Let's just see what the oh, hang on. Or print support, rather. Typeset variants. The support. If there's a value, what it says on set. I mean, just get a fewer people in here. So we're going to have Mio, DB10, so I mean that would be enough. So we're saying that support Patreon. Casey's still coming through for some reason. I'm in for all that actually. Let's get rid of these guys also. So all we've got Here's Mio. Oh, and daughter. Alright, so we've got the people, so there's Mio. The architect graphical icon varies. He's on set. Yet if we look at the help, we can clearly see the Patreon has normal. That's what it's supposed to be. We know what the icon and the URL is, don't we? Yeah, we know what the icon and the URL are. So let's dive into it. Yeah, the icon branch is set to nothing. So let's just try then going to push person. Icon type. Oh, hang on. Support tree. What are we looking at here? Scope tree, support tree here. So that means that there's one tree. It's not pivotable, it's got 6 fields. So the ident support Patreon. It's got no trees. It's got some pairs, but it's got no int pairs. I just forgotten to do that? Have I forgotten to add that to the type spec? Ah, hold on a minute. Field type FT string. Ah, hang on a minute. Have I screwed up here? The icon variants. The icon type is FT string apparently. Field type when we push this apart. Yeah, I think I have, haven't I? Type spec. Yeah, I'm resolving it the wrong way, aren't I? Well, apparently not. At least the project isn't. Interesting. I think I have screwed up here. So the genre is apparently ending up as an actual integer, isn't it? So we do say that this is a string, but we push it on as an int. I wonder if that's not, it's simply not being handled actually. Let's step into that. Field ID is this. Oh, I'll tell you what. Yeah, that's all it is. I think I just said. Yep, I know what it is. Or do I? We're talking about the field ID. Which is this. So that says that's a number. The genre apparently still thinks it's a string, which I don't think is correct. Log level, what's that saying? So that says it's a string. The numbering scheme. That's saying it's also a string. I think none of these things are working right. Because the numbering scheme should end up being an integer, I think. This log level, so let me just... It's unfortunate because most of the things I don't actually use, really. But let's just say that the log level is something, debug, whatever. Has that been set? Yeah, it has been set. So the log level has been set correctly. We're saying it's a string. Push default int pair. So that's pushing it on as a default int pair. Log out. Oh, hang on. Push default. Ah, hang on. Have we just not set this? It's like when you do the variants. So those are the defaults, right? They still do push int. I think we need to do the parse out variance string actually. Now, because we know what we're talking about, we could actually say Or what is it? It's normal, is it? Config art variant ID. So it's all of these basically. We've already done it. So it's get out a variant from string. Now what do we have? Well, it's not set to none. Could not find person Miblo. What is that supposed to be taking? It's taking a string. Double check that I did write it. Yeah, it's still not pushing it on as a variant somehow. Default int pair. We've got the key. Ident icon variants. Pushing onto the support Patreon. Are we setting that value? So what? Why? Why is it not doing it? The string is normal. Okay. We're going over the CAV count. Which is some value. Right. So basically we should be hitting this. Should be finding that at least. I is 3, so we're looking to encounter the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the 9th one we should match on. Okay, so this is now the 9th. The mapping is apparently 9. That's just pure luck. It's just doing this. It's ORing that with this. Don't we do anything into it? So if the strings match S, this string. So we know that this string is normal, and we've got normal, right? In fact, they're actually using the same base even, somehow. Which is interesting, isn't it? I'm not sure that we can rely on that, though. Unless we could, actually. Get our version string. Yeah, I suppose we might be able to. Could that be true? No, I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But yeah, anyway, this has set the result, right? So the result's now 9. Right, so that guy knows full well that, you know, we've got, we pushed a default int pair on to the support Patreon. Okay. So now, push a person. Onto config. This is going to be Mio. So we now come down to here. So actually, hang on. Well, actually, let's just go to scope tokens actually. And look for the support thing. So it's going to be a scope. So if the field ID is equal to ident include, do this information. Else, if it's a support, okay. So it's going to try and find that. And the thing is, we know that it finds it because we find that the patreon.com thing is actually set. Don't we? So that didn't manage to push the thing on. The T trigger. Yeah, okay, so that's fine. All that meant is that Mio doesn't currently have, or Mio's support. Sorry, yeah, Mio doesn't currently have a support set. So I think that's right. Is that right? Okay, so there's a tree. There's now an int pair count. Oh, I suppose you need to put the type as well, don't you? Yeah, you probably do need to do that. Actually, now I think about it. Because although the resolution will be able to handle it, we don't actually necessarily resolve in this situation. So this just needs to say is get art type. And this, it wants to take a token, does it? Well, whatever. Let's just say this, that. That might have been our only problem, actually, now that I think about it. So you set the icon, it's a PNG, it's a graphical, and the variance of this. I think that's more like it. We'll just quit. Well, how do we saved it? I don't know. Yep, doesn't like it, so let's carry on. So this is back into scope tokens. It's not an include. We're looking for the added support. This is where we're up to. So I haven't managed to find it. I don't think, did it? What we're actually stopping on here? We're stopping on the test for added support. Alright. So I think just managed to succeed? I think this one did succeed, didn't it? Yeah. So let's have a look at the T trees. This is exactly what, hang on, what we're up to. So now we have 2 pairs. Okay. Oh, sorry, 2 int pairs. Let's have a look at those int pairs. So is the icon type is 1, which means it's graphical. The icon variance is 9, and that's your lot. So we've managed to find that, and we're returning that. We have got a search. I wanted to copy that scope. So there's the icon support, there's our pair count. Right. So this is going to be leaping over those. Icon type, icon variance. Graphical. Variance, right. So this is what we're looping over again. The support tree int pair count. And we're pushing it on to the person who's got to be Mio because he's the only person in it. Yeah, Mio Tatsu. The support we just created for him. So he basically has nothing in it at the moment, apart from the ID. Just got the ID Patreon. Got none of this information. IT default on set. Yeah, so this will all have to be filled in. Let's just see what we filled in there. We filled in the icon and the URL. Right. So the icon type is graphical. The icon variance is 9. Right. So we've set that. Right. We're looking at Mio, we're looking at his support. Oh, is it pushing at the variant uniquely? I mean, it shouldn't be, I don't think. But yeah, if it's unset, which it isn't, because we've specified what it is. Yeah, which I guess argues for the idea that you don't actually need to make set defaults, set the icon type. Okay, yeah, so it's still going to push the variant uniquely, which is perfectly fine. That's just for error checking. Oh, we increment the support count. Right. And the person count. So we're talking about Mio again. He's got one support, let's just go into the support. The icon version is set to 9 still. So that's right. So what's its problem? Oh, shit, I know it. Is that this zeroed? No, it's not this zeroed. The value ended with that shifted up, the string should be the art variant strings variant shifter index, right? The running available columns. Oh, hold on. Minus 15. How's that happened? Because we haven't printed anything, have we? Icon variants. The available columns. Oh yeah, mind you, this is actually broken. So in here it's broken. But I think, either way, I think this is slightly broken also. As we determined with the other guy. So this guy does the check. If the running available columns is like check with length is less than that, then it prints out whether it needs a space. Okay. Otherwise, it will do the carriage return. And the margining. Set that to false, bring available columns is that. Okay. And then I reckon it's just this actually. Either way that needs to happen. Kind of insane that after all that, the problem was in the printing. Now why it thinks it doesn't have enough space to do that, I don't know. Types of variant. Oh, it's because of this. So what do we have then? The available columns. Print me. Well, hang on, it's not necessarily that. Fix me. Print support. Yeah, right. So the rows required. That's the number of rows. The indentation level, we know what that is. So where are we at? In printing a support. Typography. So, ad hoc. I mean, look at this. What's that all about? Oh, hold on. That's because it's another run, isn't it? Yeah, that's fine. So the icon variants. It's still not right. So that reckons it does a carriage return, then it does the margin, then it does the stuff. Okay, it's not locked up. I mean, this works, don't it? Oh, I know why that's. I know why the new line is occurring. It's because of the. It's just because of the space. The available columns. I don't know what the available columns are. It's like if we just say, for the sake of argument, just to get this looking like something. Right, now it manages to put them all on the same line. Yeah, I think that's one of the things. That is just one of the things to clean up, isn't it? The person printing. So we know that each person we know what the terminal columns are. Do I go ahead and do this? Or do I leave this be for now? Yeah, we're still not using Sprite either. I reckon I'm going to call it a day, actually. We go for 2 hours 41 minutes, and all we've done is squash our info events, and I don't even know what we've done, honestly. It's just print Sprite variants. I mean, I suppose we could try and do the print people. The difficult, well, it's not difficult, it's just something that we'll have to handle when we do the print support. So get rows required for person. This assumes that it assumes that everything uses one line, basically. But it can't really assume that. Now, a person who's got some typography Yeah, let's just go for it. Let's do it. Okay. Let's just assume that that fits on one line. So we know what happens here. We've got like the, how much typography do we have here actually? I suppose let's just do it for, we only want to determine it for the icon variants actually. So let's say that we've got that piece of typography. Right, so it's basically 4 really. Mind you, I suppose if you look at it like that, 1, 2, 3, 4, then you don't need the typography. Okay, you just say so like the position, the column for the icon variants. So we want to say it's the icon variants, and it's the config, it's the ident icon variants. Typeset. Okay. So it's kind of going to be similar to types of variants, isn't it? So we've got the key, the value, and we also know we need to say what the available columns right. So it's the available columns for well, yeah. So the characters in key plus the delimiter. Oh, it's got the T delimiter, yeah. don't think you need a generation. I don't think you need that. The original code editor. Okay, so the very first thing is that we're going to actually, you always print the key, right? If the running available columns okay. So it's only if this is true, isn't it? If the running available columns take with length, we do sniffing. Otherwise, we need to increment the result, isn't it? Oh. The available columns is going to be the term calls takeaway for. Oh right, yes, for each support is what you need that for. Oh wait, sorry. For the P support count, support this. It's that. That's what you're talking about. So plus. Okie. So now determine how many rows were required. So print person. In order to print supports. Typeset variants probably wants to decrement the rows required, probably. So we do the return and we increment the results. I think that's it really. Every time you do a carriage return, just increment the results. Okay. Now, I wonder where that gets us actually. Where it gets us anywhere at all. No. So is that because we're still not passing the available columns? Yeah. So the available columns for the support. I mean, it's just. It is just this, isn't it? The starting column. Term columns take away the starting column. Right, and all of the supports are in that manner. So that'll hopefully put everybody on the same line. Yeah, so now what we need to just make sure we do is handle this information here. So we've got the icon, we know what the starting column is for the support. So yeah, all the supports. They all happen to know, don't they, where they should be printing. Hold on. That is known to print that. Type to the icon type. Is the problem here simply that the icon type is new lining? guy's saying print pair, and I think the print pair, one of these is probably going to be to do with new lining. Yeah, prepend new line. So you see that was false, wasn't it? So you're supposed to not prepend a new line, but you're supposed to append a new line. Okay. Now, because these types of icon types are specific to this function, aren't they? Oh, hang on, no, they're not. Oh, that's a point. Am I screwing up some other things? Yeah, I am. So this actually needs to take some more information. Sorry, the typeset variants. So in the same way that the print pair takes stuff like the prepend new line and append new line, we need to make these guys take them to and then similarly well, I mean we can assume it, can't we? I think when we're determining when we're getting rows required for variants, I think we can know. Yeah, I do think we can just know that. Alright. So let's see, all of these guys are saying false and true, aren't they? So let's just make everyone maybe do that. And then these guys, typeset pair, they do a carriage return, but they don't actually append. So these guys are the opposite way around. It's true, they're false. Oh, there's other people who use these as well. The print medium. That's saying false and true. Print support is the one that we were looking at. Right, hold on. Well, all of this is... Oh, actually, we could just say false for both, actually. I don't know if that's actually what we want, but that's what we're getting. And then the typeset icon type. So this guy is the one that's saying it should be false, and then true. Alright. Now, who are we talking about here? Is this the main this is the conflict. Alright, Cynthia. Yeah, sorry. Let's just have a look at what that's doing. Now it's correct. Okay, so we've got we've got that. We've got too many spaces, so the typeset. I also wonder the icon type. Yeah, so there's no, yeah, there's icon type there, So we're saying true and then false for that, which means that we should be prepending with a new line. Oh, we don't actually handle that, do we? So it's now spaced up nicely. And the thing about this thing, we're now down to the situation where we've got, we should know that there's no rows remaining, and we should print this out as like the bottom of the thing, basically. And these all look fine now. These are all in one long row, which is interesting. It's got to be the typeset variance that knows about the rows requiredness, hasn't it? It's got to be them. Maybe, yeah, well, hang on a minute. Yeah, this guy also needs to return whether it's how many rows it printed. Probably. Oh yeah, then return it. I don't know that that's made any difference at all. Might have done, don't know. And also, that shouldn't have a space there, so let's just sort that out. So the typesetting the icon type, it's saying the margin there. Now, that is correct for here, probably just that, isn't it? Yeah. All right. Now I suppose actually rather than returning the rows required, we probably need to actually take the rows required and modify it as we go. Go takes it after the indentation level. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I do think that this person should then be responsible for doing. Oh, no, we're in another situation here because typeset variance is used by both the support and by the project. But they actually print out differently. Like the style of these things are different. One way you could do it is to just say, yeah, you could just say that if the rows required is actually passed at all, and then you evaluate this. And then every time you do a carried return, you need to say that you need to decrement the rows required, basically. Oh yeah, so okie dokie. And then whenever you do a carried return, you need to actually say if you got a rows required. Yeah, I suppose. So what is this actually saying, I think? They're saying that you do printing the key. So we do print the key. It almost actually seems like what you want to do is, rather than doing this, you decrement the rows required, and then you print F. That seems to be what it is, I reckon. I just wanted to take a pointer. Rows required comes in as a pointer. What's its problem? It's pointer from integer without a cast. Oh. Where's the error? Define true. What? This is the pin project thing, isn't it? Alright. So now what should I give us? Nearly there. Have a look. Put on the icon type. So we should be saying that we want to prepend the new line. So we do prepend the new line. We should have rows required. Verticals. So yeah, I think we in the printing of the support, I don't think we should do anything odd with the carriage returning. We do put the margin though. Oh, hang on. Yeah, I suppose actually. Should that happen after the code return? I'm not sure. But we carriage return to get us down to there. And it's at this point, if rows required, we decrement the rows required. And if we only require one row, do the lower left. It's possible that this is off by 1. So that if the rows required is 0, yeah, that is possible, actually. Well, mind you, what is that printing? Let's step through it, because I can't really make full good sense of this. Oh, mind you, this is not going to be right, is it? Because we just don't get the right values through. And we also get all this garbage printed out. So set to 4. So we shouldn't be pre-printing a new line, apparently. Oh, right. Hold on. So if we're not pre-printing a new line, we're not going to get the rows required. So we actually need to say we need to do that differently, don't we? It's only if we pre-print the new line. Do the carriage return, and if we got rows required, we decrement that. And then yeah, after prepending the new line, we need to then check again if the row is required. And actually do the thing. Yeah, I do think that's better. For some measure of the word better. If rows required. Yeah, and then all of these ones can just happen because we know that we're doing a carriage return for everyone. Yeah, just have a look at it. Almost there. So we seem to be off by 1, I think. If we need to append a new line, do a carriage return. If we don't need to append a new line, then I suppose it doesn't matter. I don't know. Yeah, that's not right at all. Roll that back. Basically what I want to be doing is getting this lower left or vertical thing printing out before the config identifier. Right, that's all I'm trying to do. I could have computed it wrong, couldn't I, actually? To be fair. Oh, you're selling it. Sure. Or a car. Right. So that's saying the rows required for the paid for the variances 2, which isn't the right number, I'm afraid. So I've computed that incorrectly. The rows required minus equals the typeset icon type. So that's minus equaling the rows required. I mean, we can do this by hand. We can just count up how many rows it actually requires. Let's just do that first. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right. Okay, so we've computed it correctly, apparently. That's decrementing the rows required. So that's going to print out some information, decrement that down to 6. So we need 6 characters for the support. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hang on a minute. 1, 2. Miyatatsu. Oh, hold on. For person info, doesn't include the ID. That's our problem. Yeah. Well, wait, what? The name? We're not including the ID. So what we're saying? We're saying we should be... Oh shit. That was a problem. Alright, so now we've got this in the right place, but now where's this coming from? Typeset person. Oh, I think we do. Hold on. Yeah, I see. So we're putting a new line. I think we don't do the rows required, because the rows required, right, is an indication that we're talking about the support person. That's basically it. Excuse me. Might make a note of that actually, because not at all clear. Rows required is a value passed only by print support. It has special types of. Whatever. There we have it. So now the people are being printed. Now we haven't actually fully tested it. Let's just try and do that. Let's go into the cinera.config.c, set defaults. Now I think, as I say, we can get away without doing that. We might not be able to, but try it. Yeah, now we actually get that coming through perfectly. And the graphical you can see has automatically been set because we know that the icon is like that. So, I mean, maybe for the sake of being explicit, I might set that IT graphical. Yeah, I think that's fine. Absolutely bang on, honestly, isn't it? Has it broken this thing? No, it doesn't seem to have broken that. And the medium, how do they look? Light focused. The icon type, what would it be? It would be these, wouldn't it? Light focused, light disabled, dark normal, dark focused. Light and dark. Is that right? Don't know what they're thinking they're supposed to do. I might not save this actually. Icon type textual. Light focused, light disabled. Dark normal and dark focused. Oh, there's an append new line thing there. That's interesting. Don't think that made any difference. That'll be to do with the, oh hang on, that'll be to do with the theme. Where is it? Sorry, the default medium. So default medium, I mean it looks right there, doesn't it? So yeah, this light focused. Where is that coming from exactly? Yeah, I'm not convinced that that's right. It reckons that those values are set. Right. So these are all icons. They're all textual icons. They have no variants. So we're seeing, well, as textual icons they have, oh, hold on. You got the icon type, textual, typeset variants. So in order to print this medium, this trivia medium, it prints its ID there, then it prints its actual name, well, it prints the delimiter, then it prints the name, then it opens up its brackets. Okay. If the icon length is that, it prints that. If the icon normal is the icon focused. Oh, hang on. If the icon is textual, I suppose that's another part of it. But yeah, the main thing I'm a bit bothered about here. The main thing I'm bothered about is the types of the types of variants. Okay. We've got the icon textual printed out. A for the value. I mean, for a start, we're not actually seeing the ID, are we? The config identifier is key string. T indentation. Key value. Oh shit. Key value. Available columns, rows required. So the available columns. Zero and zero, yeah, right. So, yeah. I think that's actually what it should be. So there's no variance involved. I just passed the wrong values to it. That's not like it. But yeah, again, this is something that I actually need to do better. I'm not going to do that now. Print me. Yeah, in fact, you can see this is actually how it's supposed to look. I mean, it's pure luck that it looks like this. Also, it's apart if you just ignore that these aren't spaced. We need the logic for that. But in terms of these lines up here, this looks all correct. These are all correct. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna call it a day there. Been going for almost 4 hours. Yeah, calling it a day. We still haven't got to using the sprites. All we've done again is squashing inotify against and squashing inotify events and printing sprite variants. I think next time I'm just going to go straight for it. Just going to go straight for the using sprites, basically. And then we can come back to the printing of this nonsense. getting it into the database is what we need. Getting it into the assets array is probably also what we need. Then once we've got those in, we can then look to sort of actually producing some HTML based on the Sprite variants. But anyway, that's it for now. So thank you very much, Sharon and Howard, for being here, for being beautiful, for being patient, and most of all for being squashy. We like squashy people. Until next time, farewell for now.